Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review. Today we're going to be looking at the Tunenge S22, and I've only reviewed one of their flat style flashlights before. That was the YC8003, but Tunenge have released a few interesting flashlights recently, and I thought I'd make some videos on them because I think they're really good value. This one here, the S22, it's a 2 AA flashlight, but it takes a 14100 cell, which is basically a very long AA cell, and it's a multi-function pen light, so it delivers 1200 lumens in a pocket-friendly design. So you've got a main flashlight here. You can go through and just select all the different modes. You've also got a side light, so once it's on, you basically just hold that button down on the side, and you've got a warmer kind of mode. Let's have a look here. You've got a red mode, you've got a red and yellow kind of flashy alert mode, and you've got a 365 nanometer UV light as well, which is really handy for some of you who work in security. Maybe you need to inspect rooms, verify documents, that kind of thing. It's a great little feature to have, something I've not seen on other pen lights before. So yeah, it's incredibly portable. You can see, fits in the palm of your hand, but it is a bit longer, but in your pocket you should be fine. I think it'd be great for general EDC if you're camping, emergency use, professional use. And yeah, I like the extended battery life with 2 AA cells. I think when you're carrying around a single AA cell, there's always a bit of battery anxiety there. And I do like that it runs on primary, normal primary AA cells as well, which you can't say for a lot of other lithium-ion flashlights out there. So let's have a look at what's in the box. Obviously, you get the light itself. They include this really sturdy double-sided clip. And let me just show you the battery. It's, look at that. It's a 14100 cell, 1800 milliamp hours. It also has a USB-C port included on there. And let's have a look what else you get. This instruction manual, pretty simple instruction manual. This is the box that the light comes in. So if you want to pause the video and have a read of some of the specifications on the side of the box, you can do so now. And also include a USB-C charging cable. So here's a comparison with a few other 14500 cell flashlights that I have. And of course, you've got the classic Pokelit AA and a couple of convoy flashlights here, the T6 and the T3. They're actually a little more chunkier for 14500 cell flashlights, but they have good heat dissipation. And I've got here on the left the Tunenge T21X. So yeah, you can really see that the extra AA cell does add a bit of length on there, but I really don't think it's going to make much of a difference when it's in your pocket. Okay, so here is a little close-up of the Tunenge S22, and the construction is surprisingly good. You've got anodized aluminium, grippy matte black anodizing. The overall machining is good quality as well, especially at this price point. You've got some knurling here on the back, which is great. Adds some additional grip. And Tunenge include this double-sided clip, which I really like because you can attach that to your hat, in your pocket as well, and just use it as like a hands-free flashlight. And the clip also attaches underneath the tail here, so it forms a physical barrier so that if you pull it, once the tail cap is screwed on, you can't actually remove the clip. So that adds really a lot of security. Sometimes, I find that you get the light, the clip snag somewhere, you're not going to have that issue here. The light's operated via a couple of switches. You've got this tail switch here at the end, and there's a magnet, a very strong magnet in there. Plus you have this side switch. So the side switch, for the side switch to work, you need to turn the light on first and then activate the side switch. Otherwise it won't, it just won't switch on. The Tunenge S22 is IP66 water and dust resistance. Also comes with 1.5 meter drop resistance. So like I was showing you before, the light is powered by this rechargeable battery pack, and It's still compatible with standard AA batteries, which I really like. That makes it more versatile, and especially during emergency usage, you're not going to be relying on those lithium-ion cells. But don't try to put in a couple of 14500 cells in there. It's not going to be able to handle the excess voltage, and you'll damage the light. The battery pack does need to be charged separately, and yeah, like I was showing before, it does have a USB charging on there. So yeah, I think that just helps in terms of that water resistance, that water and dust resistance. All right, so here's a little peek down the bezel of the S22, and there's a high performance LED in there. I don't know what it is. It's rated at 1200 lumens. It could be an Osram P9 or similar. And yeah, it's paired with a TIR lens. On the other side of the head here, you can see those auxiliary lights, and they're basically underneath this frosted diffuser. And it's, yeah, you got the red, white, warm white, and that UV 365 nanometer UV, which is so important because it results in a more obvious fluorescence when you're using it to detect artifacts in documents, that kind of thing. It's much better than the 395 nanometers, which a lot of companies use and is cheaper. And all three LEDs are surprisingly bright. Okay, just a quick UI demonstration to show you how the light works. Now, that side switch does not work at all unless the tail switch is connected. So pretty sure this is a mechanical switch. So you turn on the light like that. Now it remembers whatever mode you had in last, except for turbo and strobe. So I had it in this kind of side light mode on. And now if you sort of switch quickly, sort of like that, it will just switch in between the three modes. Okay, that was like a flashy red and yellow mode and the UV mode. Okay, but say if you're on this mode, just click, press and click, and then press and hold, sorry, and then you can go into all these different modes. Okay, so the memory mode does take a little while to activate. So say if you're in this mode and you click off and click on, it's really going to go to the second mode. You have to hold and wait for a few seconds, about 2-3 seconds before it activates. And oh, of course, the turbo mode, you just be in any mode and just double press like that. Triple press gives you access to the strobe mode. Triple press again, and you've got an SOS mode in there. Another thing you can do with the S22 is you can half press that tail switch, and you can access like a momentary mode. Okay, but you can also, as you can see, it switches mode slowly. And there's just other settings, so half press and then full press, and then you get that strobe. So I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests with the Tunenge S22, and this is on the turbo mode. You can see here the light runs at 80 to 100% until the 1 minute mark, where it steps down pretty sharply, and you're on about 30% of the overall output. I ran a second ceiling bounce test on the high mode, and this one looked pretty good. Basically, it held the brightness for the duration of the test for 10 minutes. It did drop a little bit down near the end though. Here are some tests with my Opal Light Master Pro, and you can see on turbo I got 132 meters of throw, on high 83 meters. 132 is really impressive given the size of this bezel. It's pretty small, and CRI ranged from 73 to 74. CCT was on the cooler end between 6500 and 6800. So some considerations to keep in mind if you're thinking of getting the Tunenge S22. Now this light is marketed as a tactical flashlight. However, there's no shortcut to turbo. There is a shortcut to the strobe mode, but something like that, remembering something like that in an intense situation, probably unlikely to sort of remember to half press and full press to access that strobe. You really just want that shortcut to the highest mode. If anything, the interface I'd say is more suited for general slash EDC use, and yeah, a few tweaks to the UI could definitely make this a lot more tactical. But yeah, I think a second selectable UI in there that you can switch in between. You know, sometimes you see some of these lights, you press and you hold the side switch and it switches into a second UI. I think that would be a really good option if Tunenge could implement that in the future. The 365 nanometer mode is great. And I just wish that it was separated out from the other lighting options with a quad click instead. Yeah, I don't want to be cycling through it all the time if I'm just wanting to access the, the red or the yellowy white LED in there. The second consideration is that this magnet here on the end is really not strong enough to attach the light at 90 degrees to thinner metals like a fridge door. There's no problem with thicker metals, so things like a workbench, or say if the light is attached vertically to a car boot, for example. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. It's a longer light, so yeah, it's going to require much more stronger magnet for it to attach to thinner metals. The third consideration is I did notice a slight delay when activating different modes or switching on. You can see it's probably like I don't know, like a 200-300 millisecond delay. It's not a deal breaker and it's not super noticeable, but something to keep in mind. Overall, the Tunenge S22 dual mode flashlight is great value, and I think it's quite versatile given that you've got that, that main 1200 lumen mode plus all these auxiliary modes. So you can be able to use this in various professional, everyday applications. I like that dual switch interface as well, so you can change different lighting modes, kind of fine tune the lighting modes. And of course, the specialized 365 nanometer UV, that red LED, the flashy modes in there, the auxiliary modes, they're going to be quite useful sometimes if you're in an emergency, or maybe you need to just use that UV mode for whatever reason. So yeah, I like the durable construction. Quite surprised at the overall build quality of this light. Haven't heard of Tunenge really compared to a lot of other flashlights out there. I think they're just a newer brand. If you're interested in the Tunenge S22, go ahead and check out the link in the video description. I've left a special discount voucher there. If you have questions about it as well, just let me know down below in the comments and I'll get back to you. And if you like the video, it helped you out, do me a big favor, click the like button and share it with a friend. It helps me to get my videos out to more people. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the latest news, make sure you subscribe. The Tunenge S22, and this is on the lowest mode and really not detectable on camera. We've got low, you can sort of see it here in the foreground, medium, and on the right here you can see there's a tree, kind of a short range distance, and then over in the background you can see kind of a shadow impression of that larger tree. So that's the high mode here. So this high mode is pretty good and doesn't step down from my tests for a while. Seems to slowly sort of step down over time, but this is more or less a kind of sustainable mode. And this is turbo, and you can see all the way in the back there, sort of the center of the scene, those trees in the back starting to show through. Okay, so it's quite a really wide beam profile, though you'd have a ton of concentrated light in the center here. So reactivate the turbo again. Does it let me? There it does. So I'll go for a little walk and just show you what the beam profile looks like. Tunenge S22, sort of closer up beam shot. That's on the low mode, medium, high, and turbo. It's a heap of light. Really impressive for a AA. I'll go for a walk. It's pretty much pitch black in all these trees in the center here. All these pine cones, giant pine cones.